I want to start by saying that this will be a long video, so if you don't want to watch it, scroll on, okay? So as many of you know, I started my deep dive on Jessica Kent, right? And as I'm doing this, I'm noticing that other platforms have very different tones towards her, right? So I'm gonna do my best to keep this video on this platform where it needs to be seen, because from my perspective, it looks like other platforms are commenting, calling for her to be accountable for her actions, but this platform is very different. So as you can see, these are Facebook comments, some of them snarky, some of them really out of genuine concern, right? I think that a lot of people are really just wanting her to be honest, right? So this is Facebook. These are Instagram messages, again, of people just, some are asking her about things that they may have heard or seen, and she just most times just deletes the comments, which is not very transparent to me anyway. I think that this is what you told these people that you are. And a lot of them really are just genuinely concerned, because from an outside perspective, it seems like she's making some really not so safe decisions, like over and over. It seems like it's a pattern. On YouTube, it's the same thing. But then we come to TikTok and it's a very different thing over here. I want to start by saying that it is my belief that if you build a platform based on transparency and authenticity, right, that is what people sub to you for. They sub to you because you have content or you're telling stories that they can relate to, right? Now, in this case, right, we find out that the stories that Jessica Kent has used to build her platform are either heavily embellished or just flat out lies. So people are seeing and connecting with what they think is this success story, right? And who doesn't love a good comeback? Everybody loves a good comeback. However, I think that what we're seeing with the Jessica Kent controversy is more of a cautionary tale. That cautionary tale is that somehow, some way, the truth is always going to come out, right? And it is my opinion that how the creator handles that truth being told about them is what dictates just how transparent and authentic they are, or in this case, aren't. In Jessica Kent's case, she can't fathom the fact that people in droves are unsubscribing because they're seeing these inconsistencies while witnessing her inability to self-reflect, seemingly be any way, shape, or form honest, and they just can't support it anymore. We could look at the big inconsistencies, right, which is really what I'm going to address here, which is, in podcast interviews and in countless videos, she states that she's done anywhere from 4 to 6 years in prison, right? When the FOIA comes back, it comes out that she only spent 357 days in prison. Jessica's response was to come out and say that the rest of the time that she did was as a minor in New York, allegedly. Right? Now, what I do want to say is it doesn't matter how much time somebody's done in prison, right? Jessica Kent's story was still unique, and she still would have probably done very well, right? This seems to be a recurring theme with Jessica, where she embellishes like the most important parts of her story. I don't exactly know why, but it appears to like an outsider that she does it because she thinks it's like cool, or it makes her cool. It's strange to me. Now, instead of giving like some kind of real answer as to why there was a 4-year discrepancy in the time that she served, Jessica just said we all didn't know how to read paperwork. And again, I want to reiterate, I don't think that it matters how much time somebody does in prison, but I don't know a single person that did time in prison that did not know the exact amount of days they spent there. Next real big discrepancy that for me anyway, is that Jessica made multiple videos claiming that she gave birth chained to a bed in Arkansas, right? Now, the problem with this is that you're never going to know 100% whether it's true or false because of HIPAA laws, right? I find it incredibly coincidental that a woman sued Arkansas, and actually in the same facility that Jess was in, for being chained to the bed during labor, right? I found an article associated with that lawsuit that was written in November of 2010 where it quotes that no woman had been chained to the bed in labor in at least 2 years, which would be 2008, but Jessica gave birth in 2012. Now, I do believe that if there were extenuating circumstances that a woman would have had to be restrained during labor, like if violence was an issue, I could see it being done then. However, when Jessica's inmate record was pulled, that didn't prove to be an issue. When her disciplinary was pulled, it showed that she was a trustee and that there was no seg time for fighting. There was no seg time for elbowing a guard. Now, or assaulting anyone and in general. Now, for those of you that don't know, there's protocol, right? And if you're elbowing a guard or pepper spray is deployed, there would absolutely be paperwork filled out, and then that would become part of your prison record. The only disciplinary that showed on her record was for creating unnecessary noise, purchase of unauthorized articles, which did result in 15 days of seg time. So many seg stories, but only 15 days of seg time. I don't know about y'all, but I don't believe in coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, right? Another huge inconsistency is that Jessica told people that she found out that she was pregnant while incarcerated. Over and over, she antagonized people to pull her paperwork, and when they did, she was complaining about being doxxed, which I will not do any of that, right? Or that it was harassment, which is strange because you told people to do it, right? In her arrest report, it does say that she told the officer that she was pregnant and craving, so they were just going to the gas station for some snacks. Instead of just owning it and telling people I dramatized the story or I embellished it, to get traction on social media, she instead said, I don't remember what I said at 4:30 in the morning. I don't even know how many years ago. That's weird because you could remember what day you posted bail. You could remember what day you went in and out, but you don't know how much time it was. So from an outside perspective, it kind of looks like you don't remember when it doesn't fit the lies that you've told your platform. For a year, I've watched as Jessica Kent launched smear campaigns on people. And every single time, without fail, when those people started defending themselves, it came with some really harsh truths about Jessica that she was not prepared for. It's undisputable proof a lot of different places about the lies and the manipulation that she pulls. And all you have to do is a little bit of research and it's right there. And you'll see that it's not as peachy as Jessica paints it to be. She wants you to think that everybody that is questioning these things are just haters or people that are jealous, right? I'm finding more and more that most of the people were supporters of hers, but they couldn't deny the inconsistencies, right? And they were looking to her for answers, right? They just wanted her to take that microdust of accountability that she tried to push on so many others. But instead, she flips it around and calls those people haters. She has been making it a point lately to say she is not a part of a recovery community. And that's evident by the countless text messages and emails that have come out with proof out of her words of her using substances or struggling with an alcohol problem. Yet she still opens her videos with, "Hi, I'm Jessica and I'm a person in long-term recovery." So instead of being this inspirational role model that people look to you for, you add to the stigma surrounding addiction by being in denial or just flat out lying. As addicts, I think that it's important for us to be cognizant of our coping mechanisms, right? And some of us have healthy ones, some of us have unhealthy ones, some of us have healthy ones that we're doing unhealthily, right? I know that I'm using the deep dive on Jessica Kent as a distraction from my mom passing, right? But it's keeping me distracted from dealing with it. Is that healthy? No. But when I can, I will deal with it, right? The problem that we see happening here with Jessica Kent is that she's not dealing with it and she's just lying to people. And the more evidence that comes out about it, she just continues to lie about it instead of just being honest and saying, I'm struggling and I need to take a break. I think that Jessica, I've seen comments of her from a while ago stating that she knows that she uses alcohol as an unhealthy coping mechanism. And I will say this, it's not as bad as hitting a pipe while you're sleeping with your husband, but it is bad. It is a bad thing to be using alcohol to cope with your problems, right? We're addicts, right? We have these periods of struggle, and that's perfectly normal. However, it's what you do in that struggle that shows people the true you, right? And I could say this like without a shadow of a doubt that I personally think that people look to her as a role model. And I think that might come with a lot of pressure. Like I'm sure that it does, right? However, you're supposed to lead by example. And leading by example wouldn't be blaming everyone around you, constantly victimizing yourself in every single situation. It would be getting on these apps, say, look, I messed up. I have to take a break and focus on myself, right? But instead, you're publicly making very bad choices, right? I think that a lot of the pushback that Jessica Kent is getting is because people are seeing the inconsistencies with the evidence, right? And Jessica is just refusing. She's refusing to take a serious look at that and see this is the audience that I built, and they're telling you something. They are telling you something. Those comment sections are telling you something, right? And you don't have to listen to them. And I do believe that certain things should be kept private. However, it's not private anymore. It's everywhere, right? And you not addressing it head on is what's causing a lot of the friction that you're dealing with at this point. I said it before and I'll say it again. I think that people just want her to be who she says she is, right? She said that she was transparent. She said that she was authentic. People truly just want her to take a break, reevaluate some of the decisions and choices she's making, because it is statistically impossible to constantly be a victim in every single situation, right? That is just not possible. And people truly, I don't think that anybody wants to see Jessica Kent hurt. I think that people want her to get better. Unfortunately, though, as you said, Jessica, in one of your previous recent videos, you can't get better in the environment that broke you, supposedly, right? Allegedly. And you are. It may be a different man, right? But you're trying to. And that's not fair to either of you, to be completely honest, right? If you don't heal what hurt you, you will bleed on those that didn't cut you, right? And this past year, you had a breakup, and then you got married, and then you were in 2 other situationships before you got in this relationship. You need time to heal yourself, right? Or figure out why you keep choosing these allegedly abusive men. Because how can 4 out of your past 5 relationships all be abusive? There's something there, baby. People just want you to self-reflect, take a serious, honest look at it, and make a change. Be the role model that you're supposed to be, right? I don't doubt that you have a unique story. However, the things that you've told people are not factual.